Welcome to Click. I'm Spencer Kelly. Thanks for watching. See you next time. What if today's tech could go really, really fast? Well, this week, Click reports from the world's most wired country, South Korea, to find out what's possible with super fast broadband. And the answer might not be the one you're thinking of. Plus, the mobile handsets and apps that are making it big in the country. And in something of an Asian special, we'll look at the Japanese gadgets that know more about you than you do. We also have the latest tech news and a sneaky way to send text messages for nothing in Webscape. Welcome to Click. I'm Spencer Kelly. Here's a question for you. How fast is your home internet connection? I actually struggle to get 2 megabits per second, which seriously limits my web browsing experience. But maybe you're luckier and you get 8. Maybe you have fibre and you get 20. So here's a thought. How about 1,000 megabits per second, a gigabit per second? Come to think of it, what would you even do with an internet connection that fast? No clue. But it is a question that in Korea, they're now seriously thinking about answering. Richard Taylor's been to Seoul to find out more.
South Korea might sit only 9 hours ahead of GMT, but at times, well, it can feel like a lot further. This is a society intoxicated by the heady scent of progress. Over the past 2 decades, industry and government have pulled together to fast-track this once technological backwater squarely onto the leaderboard of modern IT economies. Korea's 50 million strong population is served by a world-beating communications network, not least in the densely packed cities where high-speed fibre optic cables snake into each and every apartment block, and broadband wireless access on the move is taken for granted. As a result, the internet here is woven deep into the country's fabric, from e-learning to e-government, enterprise to entertainment. To find out how this plays out in practice, I went to meet the Kung family, who are reaping the benefits of blisteringly fast broadband. With a widely available 100 megabit connection, 20-something Kevin uses his bedroom PC to immerse himself in multiplayer online gaming, an activity which South Koreans have adopted as something of a national sport. Over in the living room, Eunice and her toddler are having a whale of a time in front of the box. But they're not just watching TV, they're interacting with it. Thanks to a $20 a month subscription to an internet TV service, they've got access to dozens of regular channels, tens of thousands of movies on demand, and interactive services like Twitter, English learning through subtitles, and even karaoke. Now, all of this is widely available on 100 megabits a second, but now the government is encouraging enterprise to spend almost $24 billion on its next goal to get an astonishing 1,000 megabit connections to most Koreans within a few years. Yes, you heard right. While most of the developed world hobbles by on 2, 5 or maybe 10 megabits, Koreans are ramping up to 1 gigabit of super speed, fibre-plated broadband goodness. So what on earth lies behind this madness? The guiding philosophy here has always been that if you build the infrastructure, the services will follow. The government strongly encouraged industry to take risks. The prize for those bold enough to do so, first mover advantage in a market highly receptive to new ideas. So the argument goes, South Koreans, at heart a nation of early adopters, will simply demand the greater speeds.
At home, I'm using 100 megabits right now. That satisfies me a lot because it's fast. But 1,000 megabits at home in 3 years, that'll surprise people. But yeah, I think that's a very natural conclusion because Korean people, they are very impatient. So they need everything quickly. So they need more all the time.
And yes, quick it most certainly is. Imagine downloading a Hollywood blockbuster in about 10 seconds, or the entire James Bond back catalogue while the kettle boils. But aside from that culturally ingrained need for speed, getting 1 gig of broadband to Koreans is as much about future-proofing. And lots of this concerns video in all its guises. 3D needs significantly more data than a regular stream, as does high-definition TV. But as we pointed out a few weeks ago, there's high def and there's high def, with the imaginative moniker of super high def. Slated to arrive on our screens at some point in the next decade, it has 16 times as many pixels as today's high-end HD and needs a minimum bandwidth of 320 megabits a second. And that's the compressed version. The uncompressed version needs 24 gigabits a second. Yikes. But in the near future, do Koreans really need a 1 gigabit a second fixed line internet, especially as data usage is going increasingly mobile? In Korea, as elsewhere, data-hungry smartphones, tablets and other connected devices are sucking up huge amounts of bandwidth as we all stream video, share photos and access social networks. And how is this data being delivered? Well, the results might surprise you.
If you analyze the data traffic, which network they are using, only 10% of data traffic is I think, made through the 3G network, and 70% through Wi-Fi.
And even though more advanced cell phone networks are on their way, so-called LTE, the chairman of Korea Telecom told me they alone won't suffice to meet our needs.
I think in the future we will see really data deluge. Data will explode over the network, and you cannot handle that data traffic only through mobile internet. Although you say build LTE, still I don't think you will be able to handle all those traffic. So fixed line is essential to support those traffic.
So, as the old adage goes, content is king in the online world, and it seems will ultimately determine the success of this turbocharged initiative. In Korea, you wouldn't bet against it.
Richard Taylor pondering life in the fast lane in South Korea. So, sounds like the Koreans haven't actually had too many ideas on how to use all that bandwidth. But, well, the next big idea's got to come from somewhere. What about from you? 1,000 megabits per second. What kind of services could you dream up? Let us know. Email click@bbc.co.uk and we can all be millionaires together. Right, next up, this week's tech news.
Microsoft has joined the smartphone wars after launching a new front end for handsets. OK, it's been around with clunky on popular phones for a while now, but the new operating system has even impressed actor, comedian and Apple fanboy Stephen Fry, who appeared on stage at the London launch to give it his support.
My first feeling was that it was just fun to play with. And I know that's childish, but isn't that how you think of cars and many other of the things we spend our lives doing? Is it fun to drive?
Click was the first to show the new S when it was in development back in February, and our first impressions are positive. You won't find a Windows Start button anywhere here. In fact, menus themselves have almost disappeared. Instead, these tiles act like mini widgets, presenting snippets of real-time information about what's behind them. There's close integration with Facebook from the many points on the phone. You can write on a friend's wall from your contacts list or see photos they've posted in the Pictures hub. But the social network only services Facebook and Windows Live. There's no native support here for Twitter. Hubs for gaming bring Xbox favourites to the phone and integrate with Xbox Live, and Microsoft's Zoom Player runs the music and video hub. The first handsets by Samsung, HTC and LG are out in most of Western Europe, including the UK, on the 21st of October. But if you want to see more before then, we've got a full preview of Windows Phone 7 at Click's website. More news on the Microsoft front now. The US is now the botnet capital of the world. Research carried out by Microsoft has revealed that 2.2 million American PCs have been virtually hijacked. These machines can then be controlled by outside sources who use them to send spam or phishing emails. Cybercriminals can also scan an infected machine for its users' financial or personal details. Microsoft has just released its biggest ever update patch, which fixes 49 security vulnerabilities found on Windows machines. Facebook has had no shortage of backlash over privacy, so this week they've announced yet another sop to security. They're rolling out one-time passwords which are texted directly to your phone. The passwords run out after 20 minutes, making your account just that little bit more secure. Finally, Google's foray into the living room has taken a significant leap forward this week. Its Google TV service has been launched in the guise of Sony Bravia TV sets. The system is designed to seek out the best video content on your home TV system and online, as well as hosting apps and allowing more general web browsing. But in order to interact with the web, viewers will need to use a remote control with a QWERTY keyboard and more buttons than the flight deck of the Space Shuttle. Plans are afoot to launch set-top boxes which allow the same connectivity later this month.
There are a few people on this planet who have had the unusual experience of seeing inside themselves, and I am one of them. I won't go into details, I promise you. But is there such a thing as knowing too much? I suspect right now you're thinking yes. However, LJ Rich has been to Japan to check out the gadgets that want to get to know you better.
You can expect to live till you're 82 in Japan. The Japanese enjoy one of the longest life expectancies on the planet. People must know how to take care of themselves here. And in the smallest room, modern Japan still manages to out-gadget even the most hardened of Western early adopters. Toilet brands like Toto and Inax offer techno-loos which, as well as shower jets and heated seats, can now analyse your outgoings and give you dietary advice based on their findings. This part of the machine alone costs around £420 if you're feeling flush. And if being lectured by your loo doesn't appeal, then a walk through the 8 exhibition halls at this year's CTEC in Tokyo reveals many more devices further down the pipeline that hope to improve our well-being.
Normally, the thought of technology and healthcare conjures up images of complicated equipment designed to save our lives. But there's no reason why serious technology can't have a friendly bedside manner.
NEC's multi-skilled robot doc is a talented fellow. In a few years' time, he'll be using cameras in his eyes to give me a thorough visual exam and guess my age. He better be nice or he's heading for a cold reboot. But for now, he's taking my blood pressure. Once it's printed the result, the Android assistant gives you relevant health tips. The usual bleeding obvious like eat less salt and do more exercise. Although I'm not sure if a robot saying it would work any better than a human doctor doing the same. This chart shows the average blood pressure of this year's CTEC attendees. Either the measuring isn't quite at the level of next-generation healthcare, or a few people on the top right really need to have a nice sit down. Happily, there are a few solutions for stressed-out delegates, especially if their loved ones live far from the convention centre, like this tie-on heart from NTT Docomo. After pairing it via Bluetooth to your mobile, this gadget takes your pulse and remotely sends it to another device in the hands of your distant darling. It vibrates and lights up in sympathy with your own heart. Bet it costs a bundle for data roaming. Alternatively, you could try a shorter route to nirvana by calming your brain directly. We've seen mind control games on Click over the last 18 months, but as big brand Toshiba's got in on the act, releasing the MindTune brainwave headset, perhaps it's time to take this technology a bit more seriously. The sensors measure the voltage difference between 2 points on the headset and displays the results rather flamboyantly as your attention index. Currently on sale for around £160. As ever, there are no plans to sell this outside Japan. There is a more serious side to what looks like Jedi mind training. Future applications of this research could help people improve their quality of sleep, which I'm betting most of this year's 200,000 attendees would very much appreciate. Some of the tech on show may seem frivolous, but creative play in the field of healthcare could well assure that our future looks slightly rosier than this chap's.
LJ Rich looking at the gadgets that are looking back. Now then, I know it's quite a simple thing, but don't you quite like getting a text message? That tiny bit of excitement when your phone goes beep. So what if we were to make all our communications follow the same pattern? Take a picture, record a video or a voice message and send it all at once. Well, Kate Russell's been pinging several of you using apps that do just that. Here's Webscape.
For all
you pinging fans, yes, you too, Spencer, I have an app for you called WhatsApp Messenger. This is a multimedia messenger platform available for the BlackBerry, iPhone, and there's a beta running for Android 2 and above. It's not free to download, but it only costs a little more than an SMS itself. And after that, you can send messages cross-platform between other users of the app using your existing smartphone data plan or Wi-Fi when it's available. This is by no means the only company offering this kind of service, but I have heard very good reports about it from a number of different sources, including 2 inside the Click team. When I put the question to our Twitter sphere, there were a couple of other notable suggestions as well. Also available for cross-platform messaging is Ping Chat 2, but again, you'll need Android 2 and above to install it on that platform. This one's free to download, and like WhatsApp, you can only use it to message other Ping Chat users, which is a problem if you can't persuade any of your contacts to install it. How happy are you? That's a question the London School of Economics wants to ask iPhone users in the UK. Once installed, the free app will ask you how you're feeling at random times each day, and you can review your entries and perhaps even learn a little about what makes you happy in life. The data is submitted anonymously to mappiness.org.uk and takes into account your surroundings with location-aware features.
I love the idea of being involved in such an unusual research project. The London School of Economics hope to use the data that they collect to learn about the impacts of things like natural beauty and environmental problems. So some good could come of it too.
Where have you been? Where was I going? Angel of Berlin.
If you hanker for the days gone by, why not take a trip to Berlin, 1869, with this interesting use of mapping technology at shoothill.com. You need to click the Bing Maps development link and then you'll see the access point for the Berlin time map. The company has also made other time maps, like the one on MSN's interactive Battle of Britain site, which you'll find linked in the same section. It's a fascinating window to the past. You may recall I reviewed a couple of podcasting sites recently. Well, viewer Tim Peacock suggested voice.com as another great tool. And I have to say, I'm very impressed. The free account lets you record, edit, upload and share your podcasts in all their glory.
I really like the design of this website. It's clean and easy to find your way around. And there's even a phone line for you to dial into to make your podcast if you can't be near a computer. When you get back online, you just edit it as usual before making it available to your listeners.
The option to create slideshows by linking together short recordings with a picture attached adds a new dimension to this site that could be very useful in business and education, though there is a small charge to publish them. Slideshows can be viewed online or downloaded to an iPod device, and if you think you've created something people might want to pay for, you can sign up with the marketplace. Check the website for full terms and conditions and information about pricing. If you're stuck for something to browse this weekend, after you've finished Webscape of course, why not peep over your friend's shoulder? Friendshuffle.com launched last week and lets you saunter through the pages your social network are enjoying. A little bit like StumbleUpon. Just connect with Facebook and Twitter and then hit the shuffle button to leap to a random page that one of your friends has shared or liked. My one small gripe with the site, when you click to like a page too, it automatically shares it with your network without asking permission. So be careful where you put your mouse.
Kate Russell and Webscape. And just before we go this week, a little extra something from South Korea. Now, Dan Simmons does our phone reviews on our website, and he's also been to Seoul. He's been tracking down some of the cool stuff that the Koreans are lining up for our handsets.
This is a small corner of the Samsung empire. We're in the headquarters here in Seoul, and I want to show you a little bit of technology that Apple has been talking about, the idea of streaming movies from your mobile handset to your TV screen. Well, Samsung's been doing that for a few years now, but compatibility problems have been an issue in the past, and now they're saying that that's largely been resolved. In fact, you can use this handset, the Galaxy that's just come out, with any of their TV screens and do exactly that. Let me show you how it works. We've got the handset here, and unlike Apple's system, which uses the cloud, the internet, to store your media, you can actually have been downloading a movie straight to the phone. Maybe you've been doing it on the bus, maybe you've been watching it on the phone, on the bus, on the way home. The movie, or whatever media it is stored on the device. When you get in, you just select the screen you want. So here I've selected this television screen behind me, and this updated version of what they're calling All Share has reduced the buffering time. It's still a little bit of time to wait before the devices decide that they want to play with each other, but once things do get going, you can relax and watch it on the big screen in comfort.
Another way to throw content around now, this time from Korean firm LG. Here, contacts, music tracks and other files can be sent with the flick of a finger. These mobiles are linked with ordinary Bluetooth, but with an app running automatically in the background. Drag something off the screen and the handset seeks another one running the same app to catch what's been thrown. Most phone manufacturers are keen to expand the uses for gesture controls like this one, so expect more next year.
Now, we've all heard of KIT from Knight Rider, and we might quite fancy a car that could be controlled from, well, anywhere outside of the cockpit. Well, that's what the Koreans are working on. Yes, it's an app that does just that. This tells me how I've been driving. Have I been eco-friendly? Am I low on fuel? No great surprises there, but it'll also help me lock the car doors in case I've left them open, or perhaps start the engine up 10 minutes before I want to start my journey because it's a bit cold outside and we want a bit of warmth. It also does a few other tricks, which we've got a couple of the Koreans to show you.
Unlocking doors. With a compatible car, almost anything can be remotely activated. Turning headlights on. But not all is well in Seoul. This dodgy-looking character is about to pinch Mr. Son's pride and joy. He could, of course, simply listen, hear the engine start up and turn around, but that's not as cool as seeing it being nicked on your mobile phone. A tracker system will tell Mr. Kim which way to run. The rest of us will have to wait at least a year before SK Telecom launch the finished product.
Craziness. And Dan is back next week to ask whether South Korea is ready to lead the world into the next generation of mobile technology. Can't wait for that. That's it for this week, though. Thanks for watching. Everything from this week's programme is up at our website. bbc.co.uk/click is the address. That includes a video stream to the programme, and there's also, of course, a link to Digital Planet there too. Thanks for watching. See you next time.